Hey guys, it's Jenna. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing the Sisterhood of the World book tag, or just tag. I don't know if it's a book tag, technically. Anyway, I was tagged by Reading with Robin ages ago, so I'm finally getting caught up on my tags. I think this is the last one that I officially have to do, and then I will be officially caught up, which is great. So thank you, Robin, for tagging me. I will leave a link to her channel down below if you're interested in checking her out, and I will also leave the people that I am tagging down below, as well as my questions for this tag. This tag is unique in that everybody who creates one of these videos gets to come up with their own questions to ask the people that they're tagging. So, in other words, the questions that I'm answering, Robin wrote specifically for the people that she tagged, and I was one of them. So the questions that I provide down below will be specifically for the people that I'm tagging. So it's different every time around, and it's one of those tags that's never going to get old because the questions are never going to be the same. So I think that's really cool, and I was excited to do this tag and answer the questions that Robin had for me. So let's just get started. There are 10 questions, and question number 1 is, what genre do you read to get out of a reading slump? And this really depends on what kind of reading slump I'm in. Sorry if my hair is blowing everywhere. I have my fan on because it's super hot in Florida. But like I said, it really depends on what kind of reading slump I'm in. Recently, I've been in a reading slump because I just finished North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell, and that book took me most of the month of June to get through. So I was kind of in a reading slump because I'm a very one-track reader, or one book reader at a time. I can't read multiple books at once, so I felt like I was in a reading slump because I was getting through that book so slowly, or going through that book so slowly. So what I needed to get out of that little slump, if you want to call it that, I wanted to read graphic novels so I can get through one in like 30 minutes to an hour. So I felt like I was finishing something instead of just reading 10 pages a day of North and South that was taking forever. So long story short, I can read graphic novels to get out of a reading slump. Sometimes I'll go for some chick lit, just something light and fluffy, like a contemporary, adult, or YA, but generally it's contemporary, sometimes graphic novels. Number 2, what book has been on your shelf the longest that you haven't read? And I'm not sure which one of these has been on my shelf the longest, but I'm holding up 2. The first one is The Hunchback of Notre Dame by Victor Hugo. I picked up this book on a road trip with my friends years ago, specifically because I liked this edition. I thought it was really pretty. I didn't know if I would ever actually read it or not, and I still don't. I just really like the edition. And there are the Disney characters from the animated film on the inside pages. So I got it because I like the way that it looks. I don't know if I'm ever actually going to read it, but that's been on my shelf forever. And this really heavy bind up of the Bronte novels has been on my shelf forever. I haven't read any of the books that are featured in it specifically from this volume. So I've read Jane Eyre and Wuthering Heights, but I read them in individual copies because I don't like reading out of these big bind-ups. But so that has been on my shelf, and I've never technically read it, and I don't know if I ever will. I just think it's really pretty, and my parents got it for me in high school, I think. So I think that's probably been on my shelf the longest. Question number 3, if you were stranded on an island and had only one book, what would it be? And I feel like this answer is going to be the same for a lot of the questions coming up, but I would probably pick The Hobbit or The Lord of the Rings as a whole. Like if I were to choose a book besides the Bible, if I'm stranded on an island, it's probably going to be Lord of the Rings because it's really long. It'll take me forever to get through, and it'll take forever to keep on rereading it. So, and the characters in that story, they persevere through a lot, especially the hobbits. So I think it would inspire me to keep on surviving on an island because of everything they went through. So Lord of the Rings, it's like my go-to answer. That's like my equivalent of Harry Potter for most people, even though obviously I like Harry Potter, but I try to avoid using Harry Potter in tag questions. Anyway, Question number 4, what is your most disliked book and why? I don't really have an answer for this. I don't hate books. I remember in high school and partly in college, because I tried to reread it in college, I did not like the book Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. Did not like it. But I cannot remember specifically why. I just did not like it, and I don't even think I finished it. I remember a lot of people in my class really liked it. I hated it at the time, but it's been so long since I've read it that I don't know if I still have that opinion or not. But yeah. But generally, books that are dystopian are not my favorite. Books that have a lesson in there for humanity, they tend to frustrate me, and I don't know why. I felt kind of sort of the same way about The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood, that dystopian society that has like a message for the reader. I get frustrated with them, and I enjoyed The Handmaid's Tale. I didn't hate it like I really disliked Brave New World, but those type of books, they get at me. I don't know why. Question number 5, what book do you own that carries the most meaning to you? So I picked a couple. The first one being Redeeming Love by Francine Rivers. I read this in college for the first time, and this really examines, excuse me, I have a hair in my mouth. This really takes a look at what love really means and what unconditional love really means and God's love for us. And I just really, really loved it. I wouldn't say the writing is amazing. It's pretty good, but it's the emotions that I took away from this and the feelings that it made me feel, that's what really made it meaningful to me. So I don't think that this is like an ultimate masterpiece. I just love the story and the characters and the themes that it has. And another book that has a lot of meaning to me, I've mentioned this tons of times before, that is Captivating by John and Stacey Eldridge. I read this in college at a weird time in my life, and this really helped me rediscover God's love for me and my relationship with him. So that carries a lot of meaning for me too. Question number 6, what book setting is your favorite of all time? So again, another Lord of the Rings answer, but I'm going with Rivendell from the Lord of the Rings, from Middle-earth. Rivendell and the Shire are like my perfect setting. When I picture heaven, I picture like Rivendell mixed with the Shire, just a peaceful setting surrounded by nature. It's quiet. You don't really hear much except for the sounds of the wind in the trees and the birds and a little babbling brook. That is like my heaven. It's just the peacefulness of it, and Rivendell hands down. Number 7, what book character is most like you? I struggled to come up with an answer for this one. I wanted to say Arwen from The Lord of the Rings because she's amazing and awesome, specifically the movie version, because you don't get too much of her in the books. But I did come up with another answer, and that is Nina from the bookshop on the corner. Nina is a librarian, and I'm a librarian, so she popped into my brain whenever I saw this question. And I feel like our personalities are similar in that she overthinks things sometimes. She's a little indecisive and fearful at times, but she has big dreams. And yeah, she just likes cute stuff like a mobile bookshop with fairy lights, and she popped into my brain. I feel like Nina and I are pretty similar. Question number 8, have you ever read a book that changed your life? Again, Captivating, like I mentioned before, and also another book by John Eldridge, Beautiful Outlaw. Now, some people, and even I, when I reread it, I can see how people would think this. His writing is so descriptive and so flowery that it comes across as cheesy at times, even in my opinion, and I love his writing. But the way that he describes Jesus, Jesus is the beautiful outlaw. He goes over every aspect of Jesus's personality, and he talks about his playfulness and his cunning and the way he's just crafty and just funny and adventurous and scary at times, but also extremely gentle and loving. It really goes over every aspect of his personality, even those that you may not have thought of before. And I was captivated by this book because it made me think of Jesus a little bit differently than I had before. Question number 9, what book made you love books? The first one being The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. My 5th grade teacher read that to us as a class in 5th grade, and I remember just being like on the edge of my seat, wondering what was going to happen next, especially the cave scene with Gollum. It just absolutely enchanted me. So The Hobbit for sure, and then the Avalon series by Rachel Roberts. It's about these 3 girls. It's a middle grade series about these 3 girls, Adrian, Emily, and Kara, I think, and they all have magical powers, and they have magical animal friends, and it's a series of books. I just remember absolutely loving it, and I would marathon them, and I had to have the next book in the series. So that series really got me into reading. And obviously, I mean, Harry Potter, that's gonna be everybody's answer, but that for sure got me into reading as well. So those are all of the questions that Robin had. Oh, nope, I'm wrong, sorry, spoke too soon. Question number 10, does your profession have anything to do with books, and what is it? Yes, I'm a librarian. I work with books every single day. I love that I get to recommend books for a living. That's really my job. I mean, I do a lot of other stuff besides that, but yes, my profession has very much a lot to do with books. So those are all the questions to the Sisterhood of the World tag. I will leave some people's names down below, so check to see if you were tagged by me, and I will also list my questions for this tag down below as well. So I hope you guys are having a lovely day, and I will see you guys soon with another video very soon.